Greetings, football lovers. Welcome to another episode of Ball Chat. I'm your host, Benton, along with the family. Kevin, how are you doing?
It's been an interesting week. I'm doing well.
And Junior.
Yeah, I'm here,
You're
sir.
in
I'm
the
here.
building, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Come on. How you doing? Come on.
Good, I'm here.
Well, hi. And this week on Ball Chat, we're going to discuss football as usual, review the news in football, the week's news in football. This week we're going to focus on national football competitions between nations and focus on football in the Americas. No ballers and bug segment this week because we didn't have any football in the club segment in club leagues this week. So we're just going to focus on national play. And we're going to kick off our segment talking about football in our own backyard, football in the Americas. And it's been a tumultuous week regarding the Reggae Girls, the JFF. I want to get your thoughts on it. And we want to have a lively discussion. The Reggae Girls, there was report in the press about the coach, Hugh Minzy, saying that he refused to look at his and his staff contract until the girls are satisfied. Your thoughts on this, first and foremost, kind of give us some background on this information. Come on, can you give us some insight on this background, on this conflict?
Well, the last time we spoke to the manager, Jean Nelson, she said what was reported in the paper was a misunderstanding, in regards to contracts, and no contracts were handed out. So it was surprising when we saw where contracts were actually handed out to the coaches, and then they're still having issues, with the players getting paid. It was kind of strange that I saw where they had to bring in an agent, an outside person, to kind of facilitate the conversation or the movement. So it's interesting, but it's not surprising. The JFF has, been known to be a little bit not upfront with people when it comes to, representing them in regards to a contract.
All right. So now she has laid the land. Your thoughts on this whole contract issue, Kevin?
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. The JFF, I don't think they have a role to represent their players as far as contract goes. Mm-hmm. The JFF is a body, and it's a body from a Caribbean institution with not a very high level major league football and a source for regular funding. Mm-hmm. So the players will get what they have. There's always going to be back and forth about how much they can afford, mm-hmm. how much of the pie should the players get, mm-hmm. how much should they get this season for versus how much need to be held in the kitty. So yes, I guess that's further on in the discussion. But early onset is that there was conflicting reports, as Kamon said. Mr. Nelson said one thing, and then reports, particularly in the whole media, video media, written media, said something else. And It's not only about what contracts that were issued to the coaching staff, but also even the coaching staff said they were not pleased with the contracts that were issued to the girls. So it was contracts on all sides. So seemed to me that contract is flying left, right, and center.
And your thoughts on this?
I'm just disappointed that there wasn't any foresight.
Okay.
Because if you're going into a tournament knowing that there's a possibility of you qualifying for the World Cup, you should at least have these things already laid out, just in case we qualify for the World Cup. This is a plan that we have. Not to have figures. We're not going to have figures laid out, but at least have a plan going forward that we're going to draft contracts, and these are how the contracts are going to be paid. And then we still not negotiate the money afterward. But it sounds like there was just not any plan out there saying, what if we make it to the World Cup? How are we going to take care of the girls? Okay. That is my major issue with it.
So, to kind of maybe drill down a little bit on this, or kind of get into a little bit more details. We don't exactly know what the dispute over in terms of monies. Is it relating to pre-qualification payment? Is it monies for the actual tournament, allocating of per diem or stipend for the actual tournament? I know that teams will get a certain amount for each game they play once they get to the tournament. It would be nice to kind of have some insight into actual how this stuff is played. So it's hard for me to say, one side is wrong or the other is wrong, because FIFA has set aside approximately $20 million for tournament preparation, and I don't know how much of that is going to Jamaica and how much of that is what the players are demanding. So it's a lot of stuff that is not out there.
There's no transparency.
It's not transparent.
Yeah.
And should we have? I said this is where Michael Ricketts and leadership will have to come in and there was a recent article today in the JFF, in the Jamaican Gleaner. He said that the unfortunate thing about this is that this has been in the press, and it's very unfortunate that so much of this is taking place. Come on, do you know any details about what sort of dispute about money that they're talking about? Is it pre-qualification money or money for actual tournament pay?
Well, this is my sources tell me, right? This is what my sources have been telling me, that the girls have not received any money, any reimbursement since last October. They actually paid their own way to go to camp. That's what my sources are telling me. So they have not been reimbursed. And also, when they went to Texas, they had to purchase their own little gear, because it was very cold. They have not been reimbursed for that. And in terms of qualification, because it's a FIFA sanctioned tournament, FIFA gives every federation money to help prepare, which they receive the money for preparation. And because they qualified to the World Cup, they already got the money. Remember, we're in March. World Cup starts June 9th. Jamaica plays their first game June 9th. Between now and then, they have at least 2 friendlies lined up. Trust me, JFF, they've received the money. It's just that, as Junior said, there's no transparency. Until Mr. Ricketts comes out and actually address this, it's actually going to be a stain. I mean, nobody's surprised. Remember, the Reggae Boys had to actually boycott, or not actually boycott. They said they would not play. Well, it's a matter of boycotting. They wouldn't play. They were on strike when they were at the Gold Cup. So this is not something new. It's just different management with the same results.
Yeah, Dalton, the General Secretary, Dalton Wynn, who's been heavily involved in this process, General Secretary of the JFF, he said that, and I think this was not a good statement. He said, quote, Jamaica will be at the World Cup regardless. If they have to select another team, they will be there. I wouldn't want to hear such comment. We know that's true. Jamaica will be there. He said we have.
Okay, so that's overstate the obvious.
Yeah, but this is about working out the particulars of this negotiation. Don't try to castigate those who are currently negotiating this deal, saying that we'll look past you. That's my feeling on that. Just work on negotiating the best possible deal for both sides.
No, but when you have a work stoppage or threatening a work stoppage, right, you have to consider that in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
That whoever you're working for has the ability to replace it.
This is true.
So it's just
Kevin? But why is there a work stoppage? Listen, this is
wait, come on.
You can avoid all of this, It can be avoided. Remember, it's not that FIFA owes the money to the federation. They're not owed the money. They have the money. They just need to work out a solution in regards to how they're going to pay and I get it. Playing for your national team, it's not a job. You shouldn't be doing it for the money. But if you have gotten money for this, and remember, the girls work so hard on their craft, and as I told you before, they've paid their own money to go to places to represent Jamaica. I mean, it's only fair. I understand the whole work stoppage thing, and they might have to bring in other people to play, but that is just ridiculous, and he should not have said that. He should actually be bunkering down to see if he can get this thing fixed. That's just ridiculous.
Okay, so come on. Sorry, Kevin. I know we have passionate feelings on both sides of this topic. Let Kevin finish his topic, because he was about to articulate something regarding this topic.
No, my apologies, Kevin.
No worries. You're welcome to cut in at any time. But No, but this is and this is where we start a slippery slope. Whenever you having a debate or negotiation with someone, one of the things is that when you try to tell someone, hey, you can't say this or you can't say that. So if the person is saying, hey, prepare for work stoppage, be prepared for the person to say, hey, prepare for you not being there.
Not being there, yes.
And we putting other people because we get the berth to be there in our colors.
Yeah.
We will be sanctioned if we do not show up. So we will show up with or without you.
Yeah, so the good news is that in the recent, and it's back and forth between both sides in the media. Recently, in today's article in the Jamaican Observer, Michael Ricketts said that the incentives that supposedly are owed, he was able to work out some sort of deal and the incentives will be on the way. Now, granted, Michael Ricketts have said other things in the media before and it has not come to fruition, so we don't know. But they have a contract to play in South Africa, on April 7th. Do you guys think that's in jeopardy? They need to leave the island by April 1st. Today is the 25th, so
again,
6 or 7 days.
if the contract is with the national, sorry, Junior, I'll let you speak.
If
the contract is in the national, if with the national team,
yeah,
again, the same rules apply.
They
can pick somebody to go there.
But how feasible is that to pick and get together another 23 within
Really?
a few days to get to?
You don't think 66 people want to play for the national side?
You can't get anybody to play for the national side, but I think we have to have a moral compass have to come into play right now. I get the business side. The business side is 100% accurate, but morality has to come into play too.
So, but how do you run the risk of not? All right. So, say Dalton Wynn is quite right that yes, you can pick new players. You have access to new talent. You can recruit. How do you prevent from the similar circumstances happening later on the road with these new recruits that you have selected?
That is the problem with JFF.
It's almost like a cycle.
They have never looked down the road. They have never ever looked down the road. I use 98 as a benchmark.
Yeah.
And the 98 World Cup team, we used one team to go through the semi-final round. Then we use another team to go to the hex, and then we use another team to play in the World Cup. Those were 3 different teams. And we would think that Jamaica would have learned after that. At least you sleep on Mark that. Come on, reference the Gold Cup and how the players were willing to boycott the Gold Cup. You sleep on Mark that.
Final wrap up on this topic. Everyone, get your final thoughts in because we don't know if this is going to change one way. Come on, what's your final take on this topic, the impasse between the Reggae Girls and the JFF? Your final thoughts.
This is my thing. This is why people don't want to represent Jamaica and have to deal with JFF because of the foolishness. I remember when Lovell Palmer had to walk away because Captain was doing the same foolishness and it was a whole back and forth. You have a coach coaching for 4 years without getting a salary, and now that this man is taking a stand, you want to talk something completely different? It's just ridiculous. You get this crop of girls. They've worked so hard. I want to tell you that they pay when I talk about paying your own way, that shows you commitment, right? When you and your parents pay your own way to be a part of the national team setup, you come through when you have the injuries, you deal with the injuries on your own because the JFF is not equipped. Now, when you take a stand, you're going to be told, but listen, you are not valuable to us. I mean, the input that you have given or put in since October is of no consequence. We don't care about you. So how is it that you want someone to go on the field and give 100% when they know that they're not respected and they're not valued? I just don't understand the JFF. And sometimes I tell people all the while, they give credence to Butler's argument, and I don't want to agree with Butler, but this is why people always think about the JFF. It's just crazy, and they should give the girls what they deserve. This is a historic moment. The first time we've been going to the World Cup. I think we should show these girls how much we appreciate them. It's just crazy.
Thank you for the passion, Kevin. And by the way, the coach that's been working for 4 years without pay approximately is Hugh Minzy, right? That's the coach, and Lorna Donaldson, the assistant. And so they're taking a stand. Kevin, your final thoughts on this subject?
I think, and this is, for my Jamaican nationals, both ones in the country and for those in the further diaspora overseas, we have to really have a mindset or a different shift as to whether or not we think it's within our right that we always play in these international competitions. At some point, it comes to affordability. And a third world country cannot afford a lot of different things. And to me, on the grand scheme of things, these things don't matter as much as what the country needs. So when we have back and forth, and especially when sometimes the selfishness of these professionals come through, to include the people in JFF who are enriching themselves, and especially in former years, a lot of male football players, enrich themselves out of this situation and have the country with the individuals who don't make enough money, to be shoring up defenses and stuff like that. I do not support this kind of line of thinking. And I don't think playing football is our right. We don't have a kind of federation to support football at this kind of level. And we keep thinking that, hey, we should be there. We keep talking about, hey, people representing the country. We have other athletes that represent the country on their own dime. We don't hear anything about that. We only need to hold on to this when we're talking about footballers.
Yeah.
Why are footballers so special in our mind?
Yeah. Biggs, your final thoughts. The opinions on this runs
Three words. Transparency removes questions.
Yes. So if you're open with the transparent,
There's no questions.
There's no questions.
No questions. None.
So we'll see, football lovers, how this thing wraps up between the JFF and the Reggae Girls. And my heart is hoping for the best and for some sort of amicable solution. I see the both sides of this dialogue and this debate. Leadership, this is where leadership step forward and try to come to an amicable resolution for both sides. They have a similar goal of trying to represent and play in this World Cup. Get it done, figure it out, get it solved.
Oh boy, guess what I say? Real quick.
Yeah.
You know the American commentator is going to talk about the discord in the JFF during the World Cup.
And the American commentator can throw a glass, or they live in a glass house as well.
Because they have a lawsuit on their hands.
Yeah, but they're doing it the right way.
The lawsuit.
Wait, going to court, is that the right way?
That's the right way. I'm just saying, just prepare for. They're very disorganized in that country.
Well, I think some of that is already out there, and President Ricketts did mention that in this recent conversation. He said, the sad part about this is that our laundry is on a global scale.
Yeah.
Some of it is exposed, and it's not something that we'd like to hear. So he's pretty adamant, at least on this recent discussion. He's pretty adamant about getting it wrapped up in-house.
We've been watching Telemundo for these years.
Watching the Spanish channel.
Yes, sir.
All right, to kind of segue from the Reggae
Which
Girls.
games? The girls' game?
Yes, sir.
Do you see it on TV?
It will be on Telemundo.
Yeah,
Have you seen it on TV, Itafa?
We're going to get it on Telemundo.
Exactly.
I'm
It'll be
calling
on
my
that-
friends.
That is part of the problem.
I'm
We
calling
are
my
Telemundo.
friends.
In the summer, we'll have this discussion about revenue, about the women's game, and all these particulars. And so to kind of link some of this with the Reggae Girls, Nicole McClure is having, I saw a press about a fundraiser for her in New York. And the reason why I brought this up, how do we know if these fundraisers are actually legitimate? It's a press release from Florida. Anyone can put these things out. These players need to either have a representative. Are you familiar with any fundraiser for Nicole McClure in New York? Come on, because I can see myself and a lot of other people out there probably try to get their ends.
I actually got the email.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. It has her Instagram handle. So I just think if people are not sure, they can just reach out to her and probably ask. Make sure that it's legit before they contribute, because they're also saying if you cannot attend, you can also contribute. So before I give my money, I have to make sure it's the athlete.
Yeah, because in the press release, it was quite clear, if you can't attend, donate anyway or buy a ticket anyway. All right, to segue from the reggae girls, we still love you. To segue from the reggae girls, the reggae boys. I don't know if we love them, but we'll deal with them now. The reggae boys played El Salvador in the CONCACAF Nations League game last night. The reggae boys lost 2-0. Your thoughts on this, to just to kind of fill this out. The Reggae Boys have qualified. Let's get positive out the way. They've qualified for the Gold Cup. They've qualified for the Group League B of the Nations League. Prior to this game, the hope was that they would have qualified for League A of the CONCACAF Nations League, but now they have qualified for League B. And are we happy with this performance? Anyone? Kevin, are we happy with this performance?
I don't care one way or the other, to be frank. I mean, I am unhappy with the performance because it was 2 own goals pretty much for me.
Yes.
So it means that there was a lapse in judgment and a lapse in concentration.
Yeah.
I wasn't going and expecting anything.
Okay.
Again, if Jamaica plays and they play well and they're in any regional league, I'll support them.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I don't watch Jamaica football thinking about Jamaica. Again, my stance is how it is. Jamaica have more problems to worry about than football.
Than football. And can football help to address some of these problems?
Football probably is the cause of some of these problems.
Yes, football probably the cause of Biggs. We'll address the problems caused by football and fixing some of Jamaica's problems later on.
I am extremely happy for the game. I don't care about the score. I want to see Jamaica play more games.
Yes.
I see Panama play Brazil. I see America playing Ecuador, and now they're going to play Chile next, I believe.
Jamaica won't play.
Going to play Costa Rica, but I don't. They could play Sisters of the Poor every game window. I want to see Jamaica play more games, so I can say this is Jamaica's best 11.
Are you willing to donate 10% of your salary to make sure JFF have money in the coffers to host or go to all of these games?
10%?
My salary.
Is this a church?
It is the church.
Have I paid tithes?
It is the church because you guys are kneeling to the altar of Team Jamaica.
My salary. Come on.
Before or after taxes?
Let's get your thoughts on this. Your thoughts on.
So Junior, you said you wanted to see Jamaica play to see if this is the best 11 or the best they can do. What were your thoughts last night? You still didn't answer Benton's question. What are your thoughts?
No, my thoughts is half of that team will not play in the World Cup qualifiers. That's my thought.
So this is my thing now. So why are we using them? It's just ridiculous because every time I talk about it, people say, that I'm too passionate. But how can you have a player who has no club, he's unattached, and you get picked to play for your country? You can't find a club. Where are you working out? But you get through, and not only that too, you don't only get picked to make the 18 or whatever. You're a starter. And not only that too, you play the entire 90 minutes. I was so disappointed yesterday. It's just crazy, but guess what? You're used to it. But at least we should have put up a better fight against El Salvador.
Come on.
We played yes, sir.
The 2 goals that were scored, the goalkeeper, was he attached to a club?
Of course.
Okay. So I guess attached to a club don't mean so you can play good.
And not only that. The best baller in the world right now is attached to a club, right? Mm-hmm. I can make the argument that he should not be starting for Argentina.
Can we focus on Jamaica?
No. Let's swing the door.
No. But I am focusing on Jamaica.
Wait, one at a time. Yeah.
Which good footballing country in the world? You say pick a player who don't have a club. England don't even choose from them championship to play for the national
This is the
team.
problem.
How are we going to get a player who don't have a club? Him don't work out. Him don't play consistent minutes. Him not match fit. If you watch the game last night, you can train all you want train in the world. But if you don't play consistent minutes, listen, stop taking my team for matches. Stop taking the mega football program.
But this is the problem to those. This is the problem with those who pray to the altar of Team Jamaica.
Yes. Yes.
You hear our first comparison?
Yes.
England.
England.
Yeah.
We need to be realistic about what we're doing.
Wait, come on.
It's not
Let him.
no. I'm just giving an example. What I'm
Okay.
saying is we're talking about players attached to a club.
But-
There's
right, give me a chance to finish my argument.
Who is not attached to a club.
What
It's
you
just-
said-
that's not how it's done. And then you have him starting where you have capable players who play week in, week out, who contribute to a team. You can't pick someone off them sofa and put them in the middle of the park and expect say the game is going to be free flow. It's ridiculous.
So come on,
And it makes no sense.
I am dissecting the argument one point at a time. Come on. The second point, there are teams like Guyana that have qualified with vast numbers of their team not attached to any club.
Okay.
So what is that saying? No, but we need to compare to England. That is a problem with those who pray at the altar of Jamaican national football. We keep
Look here,
comparing.
If you don't try to keep your football federation in high esteem, that is on you. For me, as a fan of football, I want to see my program succeed. Yes, we praise football and whatever. This is what we do. We're ball talk. We want to see our country succeed. We want to see the young boys, them who are player, can move on to a bigger club. I mean, we want to be able to enjoy free-flowing football. Last night was ridiculous. It was terrible. The red card Mattox got, I just don't understand what the referee was thinking. He said high boot.
No, that's a red card. That's a red card.
Again, is Mata attached to a team?
But Junior, first, look
but
at it.
all right.
It was we are attacking. It was a high boot, the first thing, but he allowed play to continue.
Right.
And then because the second one, so what was it? Was he playing advantage on a high boot?
Reckless.
You don't play advantage on a high boot.
it was reckless play.
It was reckless play, and it was two reckless play back to back. I think the referee should have given 2 yellows.
Yeah, which is a quitter. All right, so wait, Kevin, you asked about, or you brought up Ghana as not having players who are attached to club, but they've qualified for the CONCACAF Gold Cup and League A of the Nations League. So your point is that.
So we keep talking about so we're talking about different things like team selection and attached football, and it comes from the mindset where we're thinking that we need to qualify for every major football thing. It's like, we need to have perspective on this thing. We don't expect the same thing for any kind of level of society, broader society in Jamaica. We're not expecting the same thing of our police force. We're not expecting the same thing of our military. We don't compare JDF to the U.S. Marine Corps. You know what I'm saying? But we go compare all of these things sports-wise. Come on. We need to be realistic about this thing.
So our realistic expectation is that, in your opinion, is that we're over-expecting from last night's performance and not qualifying for League A of this CONCACAF Champions League.
Yes, we have
Nations
always been over-expecting when it comes to the Jamaica football field.
I disagree with you on that one.
I think there's a middle ground between Kevin and Kamon, because both of you guys are obviously on opposite sides of the spectrum. The middle ground is this. My question to both of them would be, what is your end goal for this Jamaican team? Because we have Jamaica's cycle is every 4 years with the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
What is your end goal? When you, Kevin, think about Jamaica, what is your end goal for this team?
As far as football?
Jamaican football.
Regional football. Caribbean Cup.
Football, okay.
Conca Cup, maybe.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my expectation.
And come on, what's your expectation?
We can't compete in the World Cup. Why we can't compete in the World Cup? We went to Gold Cup 2 years in a row back to back, the finals. Why can't we compete? Why can't we be up there with Panama? Guyana is ranked 177. Jamaica is 54. I ain't comparing Guyana with Jamaica. I expect better.
Yes.
I really expect better.
Yeah.
So when they put us in League B and we're playing with the Minions and whatever, Jamaica football program is better than that. I remember when we were beating up Haiti and competitor was like Trinidad. No, it's like Curacao. It's keeping us at bay. We can compete in the World Cup. We can make it to the World Cup. I don't see why not.
True.
Yeah, and to kind of wrap up this point, Kevin, you have any final say?
No.
Your finals. All right, and we have different expectations for the Reggae Boys, but to wrap up on this point, it brings passionate discussion on both sides. You know, the Reggae Boys, we have talent. Of course, you have to harness the talent. You have to manage the talent well to achieve the objectives. You know, football does foster development and growth of individuals and potentially increase their chance to grow and get, you know, increase their earning potential and rise up their income level, and subsequently kick money back into the local economy. So there's a potential for growth there when done properly and when managed properly. So you need all avenues, all levels to work together. And unfortunately, the Reggae Boys is kind of struggling at sea right now, management-wise, resources-wise. But it's also critically important, like whatever limited resources that one have, it needs to be used quite wisely, and most importantly, properly. All right.
Transparency.
And transparency. There's no trust, then you know the whole thing falls apart.
But also, Benton, don't forget.
Are we getting that same transparency from like English League, the English FA and the USFA?
Yeah.
They request, and if there's a lawsuit, if there's stipulation,
There is a lawsuit to USFA to open the books. The transparency is not there.
is the lawsuit over?
No, the lawsuit is not over.
So-
but we're asking for transparency
Yeah.
that does not exist. If there's transparency, if the transparency exists, then there wouldn't be a part of the lawsuit as to open the books. It
Yeah,
would have been there.
So the lawsuit started because of the lack of transparency, right?
Right.
And before there was a transparency issue, there's a concern about favoritism being placed on one side or the other. So now the lawsuit is ready to go in. Some mediator will go in and say, look, you, the individual general public, may not see the books, but I, the objective voice, will see the books and say and decipher if it's being allocated or
Right, but my
fairly.
question to you was, is there transparency in the English FA and the USFA? And your answer was yes.
Transparency in what though? I mean,
What with the books, with the accounting books?
We're not talking business now. We're talking football.
The same
football.
transparency with the JFF that you guys asked for.
Well, I want transparency in football.
No, that's not what we were talking about. We were talking about monies.
Okay.
We were saying that, listen, we're talking about the monies to girls, and we made the
Yeah,
argument.
there's no transparency there. You're right.
So is there the same transparency that we see in
Alright.
in English FA or the USFA?
So the transparency. So let's define transparency before, because we're going back and forth about transparency. So is transparency in terms of open to the general public? General public, is that what you classify as transparency? Anyone have access to see this information?
I don't know about England, but I have not heard the English FA and Players Union
Because
getting
If
any
we're
problem.
going to talk about transparency, that means it's got to be something that you and I can verify. So if you're saying that there's no transparency in the JFF,
Yeah.
I'm asking you equally, where's the transparency?
Where's the transparency?
And you said yes, so
And
you're
so-
going to have to tell me where that is.
So let's modify what we classify. Or
What we are you?
Or what we deem. Or come on. What's your definition when you request for transparency? What would meet your criteria for transparency?
I would say, for example, now that it's out here saying that we're having issues with the contracts or whatever, we would love if someone would come out and say, no, this is not what's going on. We received 1.2 billion Jamaican dollars and we're trying to figure out how to pay it amongst the group. So something like that. But we are not being told anything. We're like, okay, something was sent out there, but the reporters got it wrong. End of story.
So,
we are just
okay.
wondering, did they get the money or did they not get the money?
And so, all right.
I'm not saying that JFS must come out and say, look, here, everybody, this is the books. We are in red or whatever.
Okay.
But at least let us know what is going on. We don't know. And Kevin, you're saying that it's not in the USA or England. I mean, so what? Why is it that
But
we
you
cannot-
readily compare. You can't
Yeah,
compare
but-
one and not the other.
No,
Okay,
but
so
Kevin,
what
I
we-
don't want to compare.
You want to compare when it suits you.
If I want something from my football federation, I don't care what England does. I don't care what the USA does. This is something that I would want from my federation. So I don't care what anybody else would do.
But come on.
I'm saying that since we
Operationally,
just
you
don't
want to
know
reach a
what-
place that USA and England is, but you want to skip the process.
What's the
We
process?
we don't want to cheat the process. Listen, it's not that cheating the process. We want to know what's going on. There's nothing wrong in letting the general public, letting people who buy the tickets, buy the jersey, support the team, know what's going on. We
Yeah,
know that
and that's-
you got the
alright.
money
So the
from
public
FIFA.
needs to see the
Where
books.
is the
No, so
money?
wait. I think we're going back and forth. I think we're going back and forth about the general issue. So you asked about transparency, Kevin. And what we're saying is that the definition of transparency, in our opinion, is that there is an independent, an objective voice who can articulate that here is 5 billion, this is what we get, and this is someone that we trust. It's not that the general public be able to see the books. It's a trustworthy sign. So we're not asking, at least in my perspective, and come on articulate the same thing. It's not asking for the general public to see the JFF books.
So you remember?
Yeah.
Let's keep it basic.
Yes.
What was my basis for asking this question?
About the USA, and so now to
right.
answer
So
your question,
where is that arbiter then in the USA?
And so now the litigation is occurring.
But that's not what I asked you about.
It's
future
ongoing.
situation.
No,
It's
but,
ongoing.
But hold on,
But
but
I
hold
know
on.
what I asked you,
Kevin,
but
it's ongoing.
But we'll have to set the playing field the right way.
Yeah.
The U.S. women took this opportunity now to ask for more money.
Yeah.
The climate, the temperature of the atmosphere was right for the women in America, and the U.S. football team to get up and say, wait, I need to get more money. We're looking for equal pay. That's completely different than the reggae girls now coming out and saying, you owe me money. The America is a different argument. So let's be fair.
Yeah, it's a different argument.
Let's be fair. These FAs, I know, come on, you don't like to compare these FAs, but there's a reason why you don't hear other more established FAs come out and have these kind of problems. These things are already set in stone.
What do you mean
so
you don't like to compare the FAs? You compare the FAs when it suits you.
No. That's why I'm saying, come on, don't like it. But now I'm going to go down
No,
the
but
middle.
she's the one that brought the England FA to us
Yeah,
early.
because
But that was a
England
general
don't have that
example.
problem.
When is it a general example? When
Alright.
is it specific? How am I supposed to know?
All right.
No, but generally though, generally,
All
if
right.
you're a British footballer
Yeah.
and you get called to play for England, there's no question about how much money you're going to get.
Really?
Those contracts.
It's written in stone. You're not going to go up there and negotiate. You know, are we hearing Cristiano Ronaldo come up and say, yo, to play for Portugal this year, I should get $10 more thousand on my contract?
That's already said.
It's already said.
Listen.
No, but this is the thing. The reggae girls going now with the hope that they're going to get money later on. That is a different mindset going into a game.
Is this the first time for the reggae girls?
That is why I am saying JFF
Let me
should
ask you
have
one
used-
question.
Yes, first time, yes.
No, it's not the first time.
No, what first time going to the World Cup? Is that the question you're asking?
Right.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah.
So why is that? Is that because of the first time means what, Kevin?
They shouldn't get money.
They shouldn't.
They shouldn't expect money.
What does it being the first time mean?
So the first thing you said is that if we hear Cristiano Ronaldo comes in and say, I should get $10,000.
Right.
Yeah.
I can obviously say that the same thing Michael Ricketts is doing. He's saying, listen, this is what you get, and that's it.
Okay.
So when you come out and saying, okay, me need to get $10,000 more. Yes, you're not putting a figure, but you're saying you need to get more.
So correct.
Where is the lambasting behind that?
So correct me if I'm wrong. Did the girls agree to this money going into the tournament before the tournament, and now come in after the tournament and say I want more money?
When you go to work, do you agree to how much you're getting paid first?
It's yes or no? Yes, I agree to how much I get
Yes,
paid
you
first.
do.
All right. So whose fault is it that you don't agree early on, and then when Friday come the boss pay you
But they said they're
$2?
going to work now. They're going to the World Cup, which
They're
is
going,
work,
they're
right?
going to the World Cup.
Right.
Which is the work. This
right.
is why they're trying to agree to.
Right.
Yeah.
They going to work up now, and they're trying to agree to. And if they don't agree, then the boss find replacements.
Yeah, which is fair enough.
But that's not fair, and I can tell you.
Fear
this,
is a
it's
place where they
not
judge
only-
cows.
But hold on, but hold on. It's not only the reggae girls. U23s, U20s, they had the same issue, the same problem. You go with the mindset to say, listen, I'm going to buy your ticket, and you're going to come and you're going to compete. After we get the money, we're going to give you money. Contracts are not something that the JFF would love to do. And my source in the camp says that there was no understanding, no figure was thrown because they did not know how much money they would receive. Now that they have qualified, now that they've gotten the money, it is only fair to come to some understanding and pay the young ladies. They're not asking for more. They're asking for some.
What
They
is
have
more?
not gotten anything.
You
and
don't
that's
know
what
the
we're
figure.
saying.
How you know
We're
what's
saying-
more than what
we're
is some?
saying- What we're saying is this. There's a figure thrown out there. Ricketts can come out and say, listen, yes, we received this amount of money from FIFA, but we were in the red. We need to clear up this. Then we're going to whatever. They're not saying anything. So it's like we get the money. We now give the girls them we give them whatever they feel like, and they must keep it. It's totally different from what the USA or whatever Junior is saying. He's not giving. They have not received a penny from October till now, which is unfair.
Go ahead, Kevin.
No, what I'm saying is that we do not know a figure.
Yeah.
So then for us to say, hey, they're not asking for more, they're asking for what they have. It's rubbish. You know, we're trying to have.
But I mean, they have.
Come on, let him finish. Come on, let him finish. Come on.
So for us to argue a point that we cannot prove is rubbish. You know what I'm saying? So for us to say, okay, they're not asking for more, they're asking for their due. We do not know that. We do not know what is more. Again, the JFF should have a sliding scale saying, okay, if we qualify, 20% go to players and so forth. They don't have that, or it's not obvious to us, right? It's not obvious to us, right? So then now the girls are saying they do not agree with the contract. We don't know the base, and we don't know what is their asking price.
So Dalton Wint said, to try to give a little bit insight into the contract, he said, quote, the money that's going to be offered is based on past experience. He says, of course, some of these girls have not played for us, so we're going to evaluate their experience. We're also going to pay them at a different scale. Of course, it's going to be at a different scale per than the regular boys. So he said that in a recent JFF Jamaican Gleaner article.
Do you notice when we have these JFF arguments, right?
Yes.
It is usually with players who don't have contracts elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, some of these ladies, they have contract other places.
Predominantly.
Yeah.
When we talk about 98, when we have 3 different teams, when the big foreigner them come in, you hear them talk about no contract issues?
Actually, no. They had contract issues.
Yeah. But
the issues was the UB40s came in with an understanding that they're going to get X dollars.
Right.
While the players that actually played and qualified for the World Cup.
Right.
So, hold on. You not play one game, Marcus Gill.
Right.
Robbie Earl that you see on TV. that I vex you, Dirty Robbie Earl. you jump up. We were begging you to come play for Jamaica. You not play. We qualify. You remember this. That's the reason why the local based players had the Jamaican armbands. While the UB40s never have on the armbands. There's a lot of politics then.
No, but did you hear the foreigners cussing about money?
No, because they were promised the money. And what JFF did back then, big up Horace Burrell, rest in peace. But what Horace Burrell did was came and said, we have an adopt a player program. That kept the players quiet. Because you have private companies, the private sector came in, and will come in and say, I like Paul Young. Me will take care of Paul Young. JFF, give them a little $10, I would take care of Paul Young. I would take care of Altiman Butler. That was the first team. Then Walter Boyd on the low side come in. You remember on the low come in and say, yo, pay the $10 million man. Me now play defense and walk off the field of Mexico. Remember that?
Listen now. Again.
Again. Yeah. Did we hear any complaints from the UB40?
No, we didn't.
But is his point accurate though in terms of money?
He's telling me so a lot of machinations that was in the press. I don't know any of
No, it was in the press. It was agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
My point is that when the UB40s came in, there was an agreement therefore.
Okay.
Right.
Knowing that what there is. Right? You have an agreement pre me come in.
Yeah, before you forward.
Alright. Now when me come in now. If you don't hold up your end of the bargain, this name court, this name lawsuit.
Okay.
But they don't.
We know. Go ahead.
What happened is that a lot of people trying to move the goalpost mid-stride.
Yeah, move it.
You know, so right now it feel like a stick-up. The people them qualify, and if we not get this, we not move.
Okay.
But that's not what's happening. So, and this is from my inside source. But talking about the UB40, the Gold Cup, where West Morgan was the captain, and we had Bubblegum Man and all of those people, and they decided that they're not going to play the final until they got the money. It was more the local players, because guess what? The local players don't make the money that Westmorgan then make. So if JFF decides
But
to
playing
give
for
them
JFF is not a
$5 million, they're
contract.
not going to argue.
It's not a it's,
But the
it's
local
it's not a
man, they need the
substitute
money.
for working.
But we have to understand, and this is what I'm talking about being fair. If you want people to come in and represent the country, you have to treat them good. I mean, that's just my problem. You just have to take care of them. The girls have been playing since October. They have not been given any money. They need to resolve this because it's not a good look. That's the first thing. When Trinidad did the same thing with Kenwin Jones them strike same way, but they still went out there and played. It's not a good look. JFF need to do better.
One question, come on. If they didn't qualify, would we be having this action now? Since they hadn't since they hadn't been paid since October. They still would have worked for no money since October.
I'm sorry, what was the first part? If we didn't qualify?
Yeah, if we didn't qualify for World Cup, would this action be on the table now? Since they hadn't played for October.
Of course, because guess what? They actually got money from FIFA for preparation and all the way up to qualification. So it's two separate money, you know. It's qualification, it's three separate money. Qualification money, preparation money, and going to World Cup money. So they should have gotten the qualification money. They have not gotten the qualification money. Yeah. So of course they would have asked for the money, Ken.
But if they didn't qualify, they wouldn't have the qualification money to ask for. That's my question. If there's two monies that we're asking about.
Okay, hold on. You know that when Jamaica play in a tournament, they get money. If it's not CONCACAF, it's FIFA. So every step of the way, even in Gold Cup, first round, you get knocked out or whatever, you still get money, but you don't get the big money. It's the same thing with every tournament. You get money for every step of the way. So if, for example, the winner in qualification round will get $1 million, maybe if you come out in the first round, you get $100,000. It don't matter. Money has been allocated for this World Cup cycle. They should get their money.
All right, Kevin, you get the last say.
No,
I'm
done.
You're done?
Yeah.
You're done. Julie, you get the last say.
I'm going to brush up on my Spanish because I'm not watching no Jamaica game in English because I'm going to be very disappointed.
You're going to be very disappointed.
With the ball.
Football lovers, it was all about JFF, the Reggae Girls, and the Reggae Boys today. We could not focus on any other thing. Follow us on Ball Chat 1 on Twitter. Ball Chat Podcast on Instagram, Ball Chat Podcast on YouTube, and the Reggae Girls and the JFF and the Reggae Boys, please figure out this issue. We're sick and tired of it.
And let's continue the discussion. Comment on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Comment under the video. Let's have a hearty discussion. We all would take part.
We all love Jamaican football.
And don't cuss me out, me cussing about on YouTube.
Except Kevin.
Eh? What?
Except Kevin.
Ball Chat.
Take a word.